I've reviewed over 1,000 tech resumes, interviewed hundreds of candidates for my consultancy, and I noticed something crazy. 94% were making the same mistakes that instantly disqualified them. Today, I'm going to show you how to avoid these pitfalls and land your dream tech job in 2024. Hi, I'm Suleiman. I'm a cloud engineer and I run my own cloud security consultancy. If you've been applying for tech jobs in 2024, you'll know just how tough it is to get an interview. And to make things worse, nearly 140,000 tech employees have been laid off just this year. And we're only in October. I've poured my decade of experience into an exact strategy plan that you can use today. It's the same strategy that I use to land multiple six-figure tech jobs. And I know it will work for anyone, because students inside of my academy are landing jobs using this framework. If that wasn't enough, I've also reached out to tech recruiters and my friends who work at AWS to give you the secret tips that you can't get anywhere else. You're going to discover how to align your skills with company needs, navigate the application process, acing your interviews. By the way, for a limited time, you can get my guide to the cloud for free. Links in the description. So there are 3 things that you need to do consistently before you start job hunting. Firstly, develop your skills. I mean, it goes without saying, but you'd be surprised how often people who are not qualified but will apply regardless, thinking they're going to slip through the cracks. In fact, 75% to 88% of applicants for a given job posting are considered unqualified for the position. So don't waste your time sending the application off if you don't meet the basic requirements. Your application just gets instantly rejected. You don't need to tick them all, but you need the basics. Right, but how do you find the right skills that your dream job needs? Well, when I was job hunting, I spent a lot of time researching job postings to identify the most sought after skills. Remember, I quit my job and gave myself 3 months to land a new role as a cloud engineer. And I found that expertise in AWS and Terraform were consistently in high demand. So what did I do? I was setting aside time each day to learn and build with these services. For example, when I noticed a trend towards serverless architecture, I built a small project using AWS Lambda and API Gateway with Terraform for the infrastructure. This means I was building projects that would make up my portfolio later on, and reaffirmed to me that the best way to learn is by building. And when you are building in today's fast-paced coding world, security shouldn't be an afterthought. Whether you're starting a new project or managing a cloud environment full of applications, vulnerabilities can sneak in at any point in the pipeline. And that's where Snyk comes in, who have kindly sponsored this video. Snyk scans your code in real time, giving you vulnerability insights without slowing you down. Snyk empowers developers to fix issues early and keep their productivity high. And the best part, it works with the AWS tools that you are already using, like AWS Code Pipeline, Amazon ECR, and so much more. So there are no extra steps or learning curve, just a smarter way to stay secure. You can sign up for free forever using my link below at snyk.co/Suleiman. You can import your repos and watch Snyk do the heavy lifting. Let's get back to the next thing that you need to do before you start your job hunting process, which is developing your personal narrative. This comes in handy when you're building your resume, because companies want to know what drives you and how your unique experiences have shaped your journey to today. Now, to develop a powerful personal story, you need to delve deep into 3 things: your motivations, your experiences, and your aspirations. And your aim is to be genuine and clear. Your story should connect your past experiences with your current career goals. Show how your unique background adds value to potential employers. Let me give you an example. Now, instead of saying, "I've always liked working with computers from a young age, I'm good at coding and enjoy solving problems," you want to say something like this instead. "My journey in tech began with a passion for modding video games, which taught me the power of coding to create and innovate. Today, I apply that creativity and problem-solving skills to develop software solutions that make a meaningful impact." Do you see how we link your journey to what it taught you, and then how that shaped you into who you are today and why. It's useful for the role that you're applying to. Next up is building your online presence, especially in 2024, is often the first impression that your potential employers make. But how do I know this? Well, 77% of recruiters say that they rely on LinkedIn when looking for potential candidates. This is something that I do myself when I'm hiring for my cloud security consultancy. I always ask for LinkedIn profiles when people want to work with me or thereafter one-on-one coaching. So how do you revamp your LinkedIn profile? Let me give you two of the most important ones. Based on this one feature alone, you're 14 times more likely to get noticed, and 70% of recruiters will reject candidates based on this feature. Any guesses? It's your profile picture. Yep, a professional photo is crucial for making a great first impression. And here is how to do it right. Firstly, you want to use a high quality recent headshot where your face takes up 60 to 70% of the frame. Dress professionally as you would for your industry. You want to ensure good lighting and a neutral background for your image. And finally, smile naturally to appear approachable and of course confident. And if you're really stuck, guess what? You can go and search for people in tech that you follow or look up to. Look at those who are successful and have loads of followers and see how they do it. Check their profile pictures and you'll see a common pattern, and you can model your picture based on theirs. And now you also need to frequently post on LinkedIn and make sure it's relevant content to the industry that you want to work in. Aim to provide valuable content, and there's no reason for you not to be posting several times a day on LinkedIn. In fact, I'm posting 4 to 5 times a day on LinkedIn. You have to see this as putting your best foot forward, and recruiters will start to take notice of you. And LinkedIn is just the start. For example, when I landed my first job as a cloud engineer, I was also very active on GitHub, contributing to open source projects, and you'll be surprised when you're super active in these communities that opportunities will naturally just come your way through other people on the platform seeing your hard work. Another great place is also Discord groups where lots of devs hang out. Now, you've laid the groundwork, so what is next? It's time to search for jobs, and this is where most people go wrong. Why? Well, a lot of people will tell you it's a numbers game. Just find and apply for as many positions as possible, and you'll eventually get an interview. And sure, that is true, it is a little bit of a numbers game, but it might take you 1,000 applications before you even get through the door. You have to be more precise than this. So when I quit my job, I began making a hit list of my dream companies that I want to work for. A mix of tech giants and growing startups that align with my goals. In other words, the ones that paid me the most money. So you're going to be more tactical, and you're looking for roles that have overlapping descriptions, like they are from the same family tree. In my opinion, don't even bother with sites like Indeed. There's just too many people on these platforms submitting applications. But if you really insist, then I recommend having notifications on for companies that you listed, so you can be one of the first ones to apply. Now, if you want the fastest way to land your tech job, you have to use your network. As I've said this, I can already hear a few of you saying that you don't know anyone, or that this isn't useful for me. Well, to me, everyone has a network of 3 to 4 people that they know, either family or a friend from work, or even maybe someone that you know from the gym. Maybe your best friend's uncle has a position in a tech company. There's just so many options, but the real issue is that most of you aren't putting yourself out there. Simply just asking whether they know anyone that can help you will go a long way, and make sure you chase them up. Don't just mention it once. Chances are they've forgotten about it because we are all so busy and so distracted and occupied with our own lives. So you've highlighted the jobs that you want to apply to, and you've reached out to your network. The next thing is crafting the perfect resume. And here is a trick that I learned from an ex-FANG recruiter, and it's called the XYZ formula. Students inside of my academy have been using tricks like this, and the next day, recruiters are reaching out to them. The formula is accomplished X as measured by Y by doing Z. On your resume, instead of just listing your responsibilities, focus on your achievements, what you've delivered. For example, if you're applying for a cloud engineer role, instead of saying manage cloud infrastructure, which is so broad and it means nothing, you can write something like this. Reduce cloud infrastructure costs by 40% while improving application response times by 25% through the implementation of auto-scaling groups and optimization of EC2 instance types. So you've accomplished X as measured by Y by doing Z. Do you see the difference? This structure helps you showcase your achievements with context and measurable impact. I've also found a lot of people will tell you that you need to tailor your resume for each application and really focus on each specific role. But to me, when you're trying to land a job, that is not feasible. You are never going to hit the volume of applications required if you spend time crafting a new resume for each job. Instead, I recommend that you have 3 to 4 versions of your resume that are slightly different. And here is a common mistake that people make. You know how companies use application tracking systems, ATS, to screen resumes? Well, I've heard stories of how you need to put all the keywords on your resume in invisible text, so the ATS picks it up, which is just plain wrong. Instead, you need to naturally weave the keywords into your resume. Don't just scatter them everywhere. And don't put anything in tables or columns, because I know the ATS can't pick these up and it will leave out important information from your application process. Instead, use a clean, straightforward format with standard sections and bullet points to present information. When you finish compiling your resume, run it through an ATS compatibility checker. This step will make sure your resume is compatible and all your information is readable by the AI scanner. Don't forget as well, you need to showcase your portfolio projects. It's a mantra that I live by. Certifications are as good as worthless because everyone has them and they don't showcase what you are doing. What I did was I included a whole separate section that highlighted cloud projects that I worked on. For each project, I briefly described the problem that I solved, the technologies that I use, and as well the outcome that I delivered. And if you don't know where to start building projects, then consider joining my Cloud Engineer Academy. You'll be taught cloud fundamentals from the ground up, and you don't need any IT experience to get started. By the end, you'll be equipped with over 20 cloud projects to help you land your first cloud job. And if you don't believe me, check out Jay's story, who went from banking to cloud hired in less than 6 months. Links in the description. Now, actually landing interviews is an art itself, and there are 3 things that you need to do, and this is something that I teach inside of my academy. This is where most people drop the ball at the final hurdle. They submit their applications and wait. But in today's competitive job market, that is not enough. You need to be proactive. When I landed one of my 6-figure cloud roles, I noticed the company had recently launched a new product, and I saw an opportunity. I spent a whole weekend developing a small project that demonstrated how their product could be integrated with AWS services to improve their scalability. I included this project with my application, along with a brief write-up explaining my thought process and the potential benefits. Was this extra work? Absolutely. But it paid off. Not only did it help me land an interview and eventually the job, but it also gave me a great talking point during our discussions. It showed that I was proactive, creative, and genuinely interested in the company and their products. The second thing is, after I'd sent off my application, I'd find the hiring manager on LinkedIn. I'd send them a personalized message expressing my interest in the role and highlighting why I would be a great fit. And trust me, this works. The third thing, which is crucial, and that is following up. If I didn't hear back within a week of applying, I'd send a polite follow-up email. In your follow-up, reiterate your enthusiasm for the role and briefly mention a specific reason why you think you'd be a great fit. Now, let's talk about the interview process. For cloud engineering roles, there's normally at least 3 stages. This is typical for most tech roles. And everyone knows before the interview, you need to research the company thoroughly. But what I've noticed is candidates don't know what to do after that. So, for example, Google has a mantra that hiring managers use. It's a simple question. Is this candidate googly? Which means, do they meet a certain criteria, including bias towards action? Do they think creatively and freely? You'll need to have answers ready that will highlight these things. So this is what you're going to do. Go onto ChatGPT, research the company, and generate practice interview questions and get someone you know to do role play with you in an interview environment. This is something that I personally offer for aspiring cloud engineers. So if you are interested, then you can join my accelerator program today. The other thing you need is a little bit of luck on the day, but But don't forget, if you followed all of the previous steps with a bit of practice too, you'll eventually land your first tech role. Just see these interviews as more of a confirmation that you are the person that you are portraying. When I am hiring for my cloud security consultancy, I have to verify and make sure the candidate sitting opposite me does indeed have the skills that they talk about. That is all this is. So if you are left scratching your head with all of this and wondering if it's worth it, considering what it takes, I get it. To me, this whole process is a whole load of you know what. But the thing is, you have to see it all as a game. This is just a game, and you're playing by certain rules. To land your first tech job, there's a few rules that you have to play by. That's just how it's set up, and we can't change this. Instead, you have to learn how to play and win the game. The ones who succeed are people who treat this as a full-time job. Wake up early, get yourself ready, and attack the day by doing all the steps that I mentioned. Apply for jobs, constantly refine your resume, listen to the feedback, and keep learning your new skills. And if you want to save time when deciding on a tech career, then check out this video where I tell you exactly why you shouldn't become a software engineer and what you should do instead.